Are you a true mage at heart? Are you searching for a way to liven up the magic in your 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons games? Look no further than Thimbleton Innsquire's Runic Compendium. This Kickstarter project brings you a brand new magic system in the form of rune casting, which offers greater risk and grander reward than traditional spells. Divided into languages instead of schools, and using rune points instead of spell slots, rune casting ensures you're never without the magic you need, with a vibrant new push your luck mechanic. This book features the Runesmith, a standalone class along with 12 runic subclasses for the existing 5e classes, such as the Runesinger Bard and the Leyline Druid. Plus, it includes 35 monstrous creatures, over 70 runes with unique effects, and much, much more. Whether you're a D&D veteran or just starting out, the Runic Compendium is perfect for anyone looking to add both depth and flexibility to their Dungeons & Dragons campaign. So why wait? Back Thimbleton Inksquire's Runic Compendium on Kickstarter now, and raise the bar for magic in your world. Hey everybody, welcome to the Dungeoncast. I'm Brian.
And I'm William.
This is the podcast where we talk about everything ttrpgs.
And today we are joined by a very special guest, Ben Dignan, also known as Diggy, from the Religion in the Realms podcast. Hi, Ben.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Of course. And what are we talking about today, Ben?
Today we're talking all about Bhaal, Lord of Murder.
Awesome. Let's go.
1, 2, 3, 4. Shout out to Welcome, adventurers, to the Dungeoncast.
Hey, Brian.
Hey William.
How you doing today?
I am good. I'm ready to talk about murder. Most foul.
We're going to talk about a lot of murder today.
Ben, it's great to have you on, man. Thanks for coming.
Yes, we're going to talk all about that red rum.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So I guess this is a question for both of you guys, but can you guys guess the last time that we actually covered a deity on this show? Don't you look at the notes. Don't you look at the notes.
I can no longer guess.
Was it?
I read them earlier. It's my fault.
Uh-huh.
Was it the episode on Soon?
No,
that was close though.
That was close.
That was really close.
So it was Sylvanas the Oak Father, and that was a year ago.
Oh
that
man,
was a year ago.
It's been so long.
It was the Fiends, man.
What have we been doing?
They just dominated the entire Outer Entity conversation for that whole year.
I feel like Atlas Xterra has been like on the burner for a little while. We did
Sigil. I'm not calling it that. You don't get to name your plane after an actual word in the English language and then say it's pronounced seagull.
Seagull.
You know what? I have the same opinion, William.
Thank you.
I don't get it. It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. Besides, Sigil sounds better.
It's almost like it's made up fantasy bullshit.
Yeah. How dare you? All right. Well, we are back at it again. And the deity of today's topic brings us back to the Forgotten Realms. And who better to assist us in shaking up this deific rust than a Forgotten Realms deity expert? That's right. I'm going to tell you all about it. And I lost my place in the notes. That's right. I'm going to tell you all about the god of murder, Bhaal. Is it Bhaal or is it Bhaal?
So it's Bhaal. That's the only pronunciation I've ever seen. Now, I mean, it's a big wide world, so I'm sure there's someone out there who says Bhaal. So I'm sure you're in the right saying as much.
Oh
as
no, we definitely got a YouTube
pronunciation.
We got somebody with hot keys because they just typed in Bhaal or something like that.
So
it's actually you
like I said,
wrong.
I'm going to tell you guys about Bhaal or Bhaal, and Diggy here is going to tell us everything that I got wrong. And even more information that I don't have here about him.
Perhaps fill in the gaps. I'm going to listen and make comments.
Yes.
And make comments. But before we do that, I have a question for you, Ben. I am not as up to date on Forgotten Realms timeline as I would like to be. And I swear to God that these Forgotten Realms deities be dying and rising left and right. So is Bhaal still a god currently, or is he dead like Bane? Is Bane still dead? I don't even know. I'm honestly confused about Bane's status.
I'm Bane.
Presently, in the Forgotten Realms, Bhaal is alive.
Cool.
But to say that he is still a god it's a complex topic.
We might be going over a year then on not having a god on this show. Okay. Well, I look forward to being enlightened on the complexity of the topic. But you guys ready?
Yeah, let's do this thing.
All right.
What is Bhaal?
So Bhaal, Yeah, God, I like Bhaal better. It just sounds better. But Bhaal, also known as Ninjushingampu among his Gugari worshippers, is the widely feared Lord of Murder, also known as the Dread Lord, and the Farunian god of violence and ritualistic killing.
Okay, so anytime you sack a goat, it's
it's ritualistic murder, really. It has to be murder.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he's into killing goats.
Is Julius Caesar's murder ritualistic? Or is that just like planned, is that just like planned?
It was
murder?
premeditated.
Yeah.
It feels semi-ritualistic, though, right? Like
it was something about it. Like, we've
Yeah.
all got knives, and we're all going to stab this dude. We're going to
I
look him
think
in the
he
face
can- I
when we
think-
do it.
I think Bhaal would weigh into it. He's way into the murder of Julius
He's like,
Caesar.
that's real close, guys. You're some candles and a prayer to me away.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he'd be all about that. He's all about that premeditated stuff. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Good to know.
He has 3 avatar forms: the Slayer, the Ravager, and Khazgaroth.
And that means he shows up like in the flesh,
Yeah,
Or-
the whole avatar thing is always a little confusing
because
their
their bodies up in the celestial, whatever plane this guy's
their
from, I don't know.
essence.
Yeah.
The idea here is that like they don't really have a body because like they
Right.
are
Their
beyond
being is
a
extra
body.
planar, and their
Yes.
avatars show up as like,
A physical manifestation.
yeah,
Exactly.
Okay.
This guy's got 3.
nice.
The Slayer resembles a male humanoid corpse with a feral face. I think this means like animalistic.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, an ivory skin inset with deep lacerations that flow with black ichor.
Ooh.
This is his. Okay, I love this. I love that this is spelled out. This is his preferred form when projecting himself in urban areas.
As like a wolf man is what I'm imagining.
This is when he goes to the city. This is how he dresses up. Next up, we got the Ravager. It is a 30 feet tall monster
Or 9.1 meters.
with a twisted, grimacing face that features a flowing beard and mane, 7 foot
Or 2.1 meters.
long horns, and eyes full of the flames of Gehenna.
Nice.
He prefers this form when visiting rural regions in Toril.
They can see my fiery eyes from down the road, miles away.
And then lastly, Khazgaroth is a form, simply a shape-shifting monstrosity is how it is described. No preferred location is given for this form. This is
Okay.
his Saturday I don't care form.
I can't decide. Guess I'm going Kaz.
Ben, do you
Yeah,
got
so-
anything on these forms?
yeah, so if you want to actually see an image of the Ravager, on the last book of the Moonshays novel series, you can actually look at what his avatar, the Ravager, looks like. Khazgaroth was sort of a primordial being that Bhaal kind of invested with some power to bring back to the Moonshays. So long before Bhaal even kind of got into the Moonshays and had some machinations going on there, Khazgaroth had caused a ruckus for the people out that way. So it's not really technically an avatar of Bhaal. That's kind of been retconned.
Oh, I see.
It's more just a power he invested with some of his divine essence to, run amok in his name for a little while there.
So could you say that he kind of adopted it as his avatar?
Yeah, he more kind of adopted it and kind of made it seem like it was his, but it's not truly his.
Gotcha. And go ahead.
Oh, it's tough because like it just says shape shifting. It's just some shape shifting monstrosity. So like, what does that mean? He could just look like whatever, or is it specifically?
See, I've never read the book, so I can only go by what source materials tell me.
Okay.
By the way, I'm looking at the cover of Darkwell. Is that the book you were talking about, Ben?
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks very something like a minotaurish, Baphomet-ish looking demon coming out of a well.
Yeah, that's just it. Yeah.
Cool. It looks like a demon lord. Looks pretty scary. So, okay. So there are these things called ball spawn or Bhaal spawn.
It's better when you say Bhaal instead of Ball
certainly
Spawn.
is, isn't it?
I don't want to
They
think
are
about Ball
essentially.
Spawn.
Give me a second.
Don't worry about it, William. Just go with it. What's the worst
right.
going to happen? People are just going to call you out in the comments. That's all going to happen.
Is it better that I call them ball spawn?
Like most dudes have ball spawns, right? That's
I
like a
never
thing.
put that together And now
Here
I'm
we
just
are.
realizing it and like,
Hey Ben,
yep,
welcome to the Dungeoncast.
Welcome.
yep.
We've got ball spawns now. I'm gonna
So-
put that right up on the shelf next to Aster Eater. There's been
Yes.
a lot of Aster Eater talk lately.
So Ball spawn are essentially just the mortal children of Ball. I think the main thing that sets them apart, from my understanding, is from other demigod children, is that they look and seem very much like regular mortals of whatever species they happen to be. And usually their divine status is unknown even to them. This divine power in them will sometimes grant them supernatural powers of differing kinds, but also usually has like a dark aspect to it where it tempts them into evil or into murder, you know.
Murder. Most foul.
Anyways, the reason that I bring up the ball spawn is Ball's mortal ball spawn children can actually turn into versions of these avatars we just talked about. These incarnations tend to be even more monstrous and inhumane in shape, acting as little more than powerful killing machines. While powerful, they are weaker than a true god's avatar.
I mean, don't put them down. They sound way cooler than my ball spawns. They're doing a lot.
They are. They're doing a lot.
Yeah, the whole ball spawn thing, it's essentially the major plot lines between Baldur's Gate 1 and Baldur's Gate 2. And
No
you're
way.
playing. Yeah, your main character in those games is a ball spawn themselves. And, you know, as you
Oh.
play those games, they come to learn that and how to deal with that kind of thing. Whether
Right,
you're going
it's
to fall
like-
into the fell essence of your divine father, or if you're just going to, you know, ignore your blood-curdling rage.
Right.
That you're a ball spawn? You're like mad
Yeah.
about it?
I'd be mad about it. I'd be super mad.
I mean, you're like half a ball spawn right now.
Moving on. So, as one would imagine, Ball, god of murder, lives only to hunt and kill. In fact, the mere presence of the living instills in him an overpowering desire for death and destruction. The man simply loves killing, but he especially favors violent or ritual deaths. He is at all times cruel, violent, and hateful. Though his behavior can vary from cold and calculating ruthlessness to a savage thirst for blood. But Bhaal, or Bhaal, was not always a deity. In fact, he's one of the many Forgotten Realms deities who began life as immortal. Before his ascension to godhood, Bhaal was a power-hungry adventurer on Toril. Along with his companions Bane and Miracle? I never knew how to pronounce this one. Is it Miracle?
Miracle, Merkel, you know,
Either
pick your
or.
poison.
Okay.
You're good either way.
Thank you, sir. He sought to attain the portfolio of the god of the dead, Jurgal. All three of these guys eventually do attain godhood, but there is no way these guys were given these supervillain names at birth. There's just no way.
Merkel, Jurgle, and Bane?
It was Merkel, Bane, and Ball.
Oh, wait.
Ball
Jurgal's
and
the god that,
Bane-
they
I
want
see,
to
I
take
see,
the deity
okay.
from. What did you have, Ben?
Bane and Ball probably didn't start off with those names. Merkul, though, that's actually his first name. He was a
Oh.
crown prince from out in a far east nation of Faerun called Murkom. And I forget his full name, but in any case, that's his actual first name. But
Okay,
Ball
all
and
right.
Bane, it's not actually spelled out, but I don't think those are their original names.
I don't know. Yeah, it's tough to name your kid Bane or Ball. But okay, cool. That's good to know. He did have the most name-like names, so there we go. All right. So who's ready for the tale of how the Dead Three ascended to godhood?
I'm ready. Me.
Okay, I'm gonna do my best.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Do you want me to read it?
Oh,
Okay.
do I want you to read it? That's a question.
I could
There's
do- I
voice
could-
acting in this one.
I could do this.
You got it. Go for it.
Long ago, there was but one god of strife, death, and the dead. And he was known as Jurgal, lord of the end of everything. Jurgal fermented and fed on the discord among mortals and deific entities alike. When beings slew each other in their quest for power or in their hatred, he welcomed them into his shadowy kingdom of eternal gloom. As all things died, everything came to him eventually. And over time, he built a kingdom unchallenged by any other god. But he grew tired of his duties, for he knew them too well, and without challenge there is nothing, and in nothingness there is only gloom. In such a state, the difference between absolute power and absolute powerlessness is undetectable.
In case anyone was wondering, this is a direct excerpt from Sword Coast's Adventurer's Guide.
During this dark era arose 3 powerful mortals, Bane, Bhaal, and Merkul. Is that how we're saying it?
Yeah, go for it.
Merkul?
Yeah.
I always want to say Michael. I don't know. Merkel. Okay, let me just start that over. That was a bad tangent. During this dark era arose 3 powerful mortals, Bane, Bhaal, and Merkul, who lusted after the power Jurgle possessed. The trio forged an unholy pact that they would gain such ultimate power or die in the attempt. Over the length and breadth of the world they strode, seeking powerful magic and spells and defying death at every turn. No matter what monster they confronted or what spells they braved, the 3 mortals emerged unscathed at every turn. Eventually, the trio journeyed into the Grey Waste and sought out the Castle of Bone. Through armies of skeletons, legions of zombies, and hordes of wraiths, and a gauntlet of liches, they battled. Eventually, they reached the object of their lifelong quest, the Bone Throne, baby. What does it say, baby?
Is that where you
The
make
Bone
your ball
Throne,
spawn?
baby. That's like some 80s fucking comedy where you walk in, it's like, this is a Bone Throne. This is where I sit.
I love it.
This
I
is
love
serious
this.
business. It's his bone throne. Keep it straight.
I claim this throne of evil, Bane the tyrant shouted to Jurgle. I'll destroy you before you can raise a finger, threatened Bhaal the assassin. And I shall imprison your essence for eternity, promised Merkul the necromancer. Jurgle arose from his throne with a weary expression and said, I've been boning for so... No, he just said, the throne is yours. I have grown weary of this empty power. Take it if you wish. I promise to serve and guide you as your... what's this word? Seneschal. I know
You got it.
As your seneschal until you grow comfortable with the position. Oh, wow. That's kind of scary. Then, before the stunned trio could react, the Lord of the Dead asked, who among you shall rule? The trio immediately fell to fighting among themselves, while Jurgle looked on with indifference when eventually it appeared that either they would all die of exhaustion or battle on for an eternity. The Lord of the End of everything intervened. After all you have sacrificed, would you come away with nothing? Why don't you divide the portfolios of the office by engaging in a game of skill for them? Asked Jurgle. Sounds like a trick. Bane, Bhaal, and Merkul considered the god's offer and agreed to it. So Jurgle took the skulls of his 3 most powerful liches and gave them to the trio so they could compete in skull bowling. Each mortal rolled a skull across the Grey Waste, having agreed that the winner would be he who bowled the farthest. This is awesome.
This is pretty cool.
This story is fucking metal.
It's pretty awesome.
Malar the Beast Lord arrived just
Out of nowhere.
just to visit Jurgle right then. After quickly ascertaining that the winner of this contest would receive all of Jurgle's power, he chased off after the 3 skulls to make sure that the contest would be halted until he had a chance to participate for part of the prize. Bane, Bhaal, Merkul again fell to fighting, as it was obvious their sport had been ruined. But again, Jurgle intervened. God damn it, Malar. What the fuck? Okay. Why don't you allow Lady Luck to decide so you don't have to share with the beast? The trio agreed to this alternative, and Jurgle broke off his skeletal finger bones and gave them to the contestants. When Malar returned from chasing the skulls, he found that the trio had just finished a game of knuckle bones, whatever that is. Diggy, do you got anything on that? What's knuckle bones, man?
I think Knucklebones is just they were dicing to see who would win. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's the
Gotcha,
impression I
gotcha.
got as well.
Okay, knuckle bones. Like
This
dice.
is so much better that you're reading it. I'm loving this.
Happy to. Bane cried out triumphantly, as winner, I choose to rule for all eternity as the ultimate tyrant. I can induce hatred and strife at my whim, and all will bow down before me while in my kingdom. That's a weird thing to say. For just like, he's just like a mortal guy, but I guess he's pretty evil. Huh?
Oh yeah, Bane's super evil. Well, okay, so what happens here is since Bane wins, he gets to pick which of the 3 domains.
Yeah, he's
this
like, I'm
is.
gonna be evil as fuck forever.
He's like, I'm grabbing the, what is it, the tyrant domain? Is that the one he grabbed?
yeah, ultimate tyrant.
Yeah, so I guess it's weird, but he's super evil.
Merkul, who had won second place, declared, but I choose the dead, and by doing so, I truly win, because all that you are lord over, Bane, I will eventually be mine. All things must die, even gods. Is that true? I guess in Forgotten Realms it's
kinda
more true, huh?
Yeah.
Bhaal, who finished third, proclaimed, I choose death, and it is by my hand that all that you rule, Lord Bane, will eventually pass to Lord Merkul. Both of you must pay honor to me and obey my wishes, since I can destroy your kingdom, Bane, by murdering your subjects, and I can starve your kingdom, Merkul, by staying my hand. Okay? Malar growled in frustration, but could do nothing, and so yet again only the beasts were left for him, and Jurgle merely smiled, for he had been delivered. And they decided that they would just put like a red tie on the door outside of the room with the bone thrown in it. So when they know when someone was using it.
Gotta know when it's occupied.
Yeah, because you don't want to walk in on that.
I just gotta say, I love the inclusion of Malar in this story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Malar,
it's
if
random as
you
fuck.
read up on Malar, he's got a real habit of just cropping up in the most random of
Yeah?
places for whatever reason.
This is a thing he does?
Yeah, he's been involved with Lolth before. He's involved in this story. He gets around for whatever reason.
Yeah, he's just...
Yeah, Lolth's like killing somebody that like spoke out of turn or some shit like that, and then looks up and is like, "Oh shit, Malar, how long have you been on the ceiling, my guy? What's up? What's up with that?"
So what do you think of this telling of the story? Obviously, this is a very gross simplification of their rise to power. Is there anything you want to add to that?
Did you find anything out about how they went around like gaining divine essences before they went up to meet Jurgle?
Yeah, there was something like
There was
about their
something vague about
journeys
them
before.
them slaying something about it was something to do with a divine essence or a god, but I wasn't sure what it
Yeah.
was, and I didn't really have time to flesh it out.
They were looking for the Castle of Bone.
It's got a very kind of mythic kind of story to it.
Mhm.
You almost kind of want to question the veracity of it, but I think it's legitimate. I think what like these things happened, and what's actually kind of funny about that story is in the older telling of that story from an older source book, it's a bit more metal because it describes how they go through and they just like annihilate Jurgle's like hosts of undead, of liches and ghouls and things like that. And rather than just like throwing like skulls, they're throwing like the skulls of liches that they defeated that Jurgle kind of like handed to them to like toss across the plains. So, but yeah, they're not. What's interesting about the Dead Three or the Dark Three, whatever you want to call them, is that they're like a very powerful former evil adventuring party who reached the upper echelons of power,
Right.
and we get this little glimpse into it when they go and meet Jurgle just to kind of divvy out his portfolios because apparently he's too bored to be a god anymore, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah, that's a whole other story. No, that's a good point because, like, obviously, I think most of us are running adventures where, like, the party ranges anywhere, generally speaking, from neutral to good, right?
Mhm.
But I've been in evil campaigns, and they do get ran, and yeah, this is kind of the logical conclusion of an evil campaign of adventurers. They make it to the ultimate evil god, and they either trick them or kill them or get offered the power and they take it, and now they're the evil deities of this realm. So yeah, I didn't really think about it in that context. But
And what's a fun story about it? It's because almost like you can, in the case of the dungeon master running Jurgle in this instance, it's like throwing in that last second twist where your players are coming in thinking they're going in there to kill a god, and the god's like, "Hey, I'm bored with this. How about you boys just throw some skulls across this plane and see what happens?"
Yeah, he like breaks him off
Yeah.
the wall of his bone castle and just hands
Yep.
him out.
I like
That's
that
pretty
too.
cool.
Yeah, that's a good
Why
way
is
of
his
looking
name
at it.
Jurgle though?
Hmm?
Why is his name Jurgle though?
I don't know if there's a specific reason.
No idea. I've never seen a reason for it.
It's a weird name.
So here's a question: is Jurgle still around? Because it sounds like he's still around.
Oh, Jurgle is very much around. He's seneschal still to the Lord of the Dead, who's currently Kelimvor, but he's been in that position ever since he abdicated and Merkul took over. So he's been in that position for centuries still.
Does he seem to have an agenda, or is he just kind of like playing? Playing like the observer.
Jurgle very much has an agenda, though it's never spoken out or written out plainly to see. He's a being who's long lived, who's playing like the ultimate long game. And what
Interesting.
that might be is kind of up in the air at the moment.
Okay, are there any like prevailing theories? Because like he obviously stepped down from major deitydom for a reason. Was it because like I'm just going to throw this out there? Did he see the time of troubles coming?
I don't know if he saw so much the time of troubles coming, but there's some theories about Jurgle. One being he's formerly, well, not formerly, he was a creature known as a spell weaver, and his people died, and he's kind of the last remaining member of his species. And what he's trying to do, or it's speculated what he's trying to do, is get the means to resurrect his people. So, in a very kind of a roundabout way, he's kind of gathering the pieces to maybe do that, to make that a reality.
Okay, so that's one possibility. That's really interesting. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. All right, well, I think we're ready to take a short rest before we finish off everything I got on Bhaal.
Yeah, let's take a little break, and then when we come back, we'll talk to Dig, see what's up.
Yeah, that too.
We've returned.
Indeed, we have.
We're fucking back.
Indeed, we are.
Yes, with Diggy. Hey, Ben.
Hey, man.
Hey, why don't you take a minute to tell us, everything about yourself pertinent to you and your show?
Yeah, so a few years back, just on a whim, I decided that I would look up some information about the gods, and as I started accumulating more and more information, I was like, huh, maybe this would be interesting for people to hear about. And 5 years going on, I've been doing it. I've been putting out episodes about the different gods of the Forgotten Realms. If you are going to check out my show, please start with the more recent stuff. Do not go at the very beginning. The audio quality is a bit rough, but I have covered the Drow Pantheon. I did that first. Now I'm well close to finishing the Faerunian Pantheon. Oh God, it's been forever. It's a very big pantheon to cover, but I'm getting there. I just put out an episode on Kalimvor not too long ago. And then I have an episode on Tolona coming out, the Lady of Poisons. It's kind of a hobby more than it is something I do professionally. So the episodes come out when they come out. I like to say it's once a month, and with a ballpark estimate. It can vary widely, especially like for a deity like Mistra. Like there's an awful lot to have to go over for
God.
Mistra.
I'm having flashbacks.
Yeah, that episode's like an hour and 45 minutes long. So if you're interested, you can listen to that. I do break the episodes up in chapters though. So if you're just interested in learning about her church, there's a section. Go find the time code for it, click on it, and then you can listen to it. So my show is Religion in the Realms. It's on YouTube. I don't do any like face cam or anything like that. It's all strictly audio. I do make a point that when, let's just call them funky names, come up, when I say a word that doesn't make any sense in the English language, I will make a point of making a subtitle so it's spelled out nicely for folks.
Very nice.
So you can actually see what the hell it is I'm saying. So then if you are interested, you can then go on the Forgotten Realms wiki, shout out to the Forgotten Realms wiki, big fans.
Mm-hmm.
You can go on there and look those things up yourselves. So yeah, the show is on YouTube. The show is also on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, all those
apps.
good podcatcher stuff. So
awesome, man. Yeah, we recently more recently it's been pulled to my attention that you've been doing this, and I didn't realize for so long. But you've been modding in the Discord for quite a while.
Indeed.
So you're a familiar face anyway, and we've had you on for a game before, so that was a lot of fun.
It was.
So thanks so much again for coming on. So yeah, everybody, there's gonna be links below if you guys want to check out Dick's stuff. And,
Yeah.
go see it. Go check it out.
Yeah, for
All right.
sure. And if you have any questions, I mean, if you're on the Discord, like for the Dungeoncast, just hit me up. I'm always willing to talk about anything Forgotten Realms, not just God stuff. Like, because when you learn about the gods, you have to learn about so much about the setting. So I can't help but know things that I otherwise wouldn't have an interest in looking up myself. So
Here's a question. You said you were getting pretty close to being done with the Faerunian Pantheon. What do you, if any, do you have any plans for what you're going to do after that?
there is a certain goddess whose episode needs to be redone. I'm sure those of you who listen to my podcast, you might be able to put two and two together as to who I'm insinuating when I say that. Let's just say when I covered her early on, I wasn't really fully in the know, and now that I kind of know my information that much better, her episode does need to be addressed once again. So her episode's priority number one. My intent is to kind of put it to my community what pantheon they want me to cover next. I know a few offhand that I want to cover, so it'd be like the Dwarven Pantheon, Elven Pantheon, Gnome Pantheon, and then the Orc Pantheon, and I'm going to see between those four which of those my community wants me to tackle first, and then we'll go from there. I know how these things tend to go. I know elves tend to be a bit more popular than most things, so it
That's very
probably
true.
will be the Elven Pantheon, but we'll see.
It's a good pantheon. It's a good one to cover. So
Yeah.
Will and I were laughing during the break about you're bringing a lot of context that we lack, when we cover
Mhm.
stuff like this.
yeah.
I can tell that you're invested and you know what you're doing. So thanks again for coming on. Shall we continue onward?
Yeah. And speaking of context, earlier, Ben, you mentioned the novels that take place in the Moonshade Isles. We're going to cover in very loose Dungeoncastian way that section of Bhaal's history. So let's go.
Okay.
Oh, don't worry, William. When it comes to the novels, it's all over my head too.
Yeah,
They're tough to follow. There's a lot of them.
So Bhaal's reign of terror as a god is best defined by his absolute terrorization over the region of Faerun known as the Moonshade Isles. Here, Bhaal's shape-shifting avatar Khazgarath emerged from a dark well and began combining the Firbolgs of Northmen into a conquering army set on destroying all the realms of the folk. Now, this folk is a proper noun. It has two F's at the beginning, and the folk are, from my understanding, the main human population of the Moonshade Isles. Would you say that's right, Ben?
Yeah, it's them, and then the Northlanders or Northmen, I believe. They're you can consider them almost like the Viking stand-ins, if you will.
Oh, okay, I see. Oh, that makes sense, because, Firbolgs in Forgotten Realms, when you go, before 5th edition, are a lot more Viking-esque as well. And here, Khazgarath is,
that's kinda
fusing
cool.
them into an army, yeah. They're like giant kin, but they're very Viking-esque. Would you say that's correct, Ben?
I would likely, given out in the Moonshades, they're Viking-esque. They're probably like Sea Raiders. I can't say for certain, but I think it's a fair guess.
Okay. All right, well, so Khazgarath comes out of Darkwell, starts raising an army, and even uses its powers to corrupt some of the Northmen, turning them into blood warriors who were bloodthirsty and extremely loyal to Khazgarath. This gambit ultimately fails, though, as Khazgarath was slain by the hero Tristan Kendrick and his allies. Bhaal takes this personally and seeks to ravage and corrupt the Moonshade Isles after this. Doesn't like the loss.
No.
Through one of his clerics, Bhaal corrupts the Moonwell. Now, this is a sacred and powerful pool of water where the primal spirit of the Earth Mother dwelled. She was the patron deity and protector of the Moonshade Isles during this time. But Bhaal turns this into a dark well via this corruption. He then forms an alliance with the Thayan wizard Sindre. I'm going to say Sindre.
Sure, I have no idea either.
Yeah, I'm going with Sindre. So forms an alliance with the Thayan wizard Sindre. We were just talking about Thay, Brian, before the episode. It's a country run by red wizards, necromancers mostly. It's run by the Lich.
That's right. We were in reference to a certain
Saztam, that's his name.
in reference to a certain movie.
Oh yeah. It was in reference to the D&D
The
movie.
D&D movie came out. Also, I think this is our April Fool's episode.
Technically, it's not out yet. I just saw a special screening.
Oh, do you fucking check your privilege?
I was notified of it, and I went. If you guys want to know my side note, if you guys want to know my opinion on the D&D movie, I went on a wonderful podcast called Cinema Jaw. I'll probably put the link in the description here, and for the next couple episodes, when it airs, you guys can go. And
Yeah, when is that?
I'm on there.
It's not out yet because
It's coming out soon, within the week. Yeah.
Okay,
I
cool.
think.
So by the time
This airs,
this airs,
I think.
yeah, because this will be a week will have gone by since
Yes.
that. So yes.
Yes,
Since,
but-
by the time this is aired, it is now exists in the world. Cinema Job podcast.
exactly. It's a wonderful podcast. Those guys are awesome. But let's get back to the topic at hand. Oh yeah, so the Moonwell, with where the Earth Mother dwells, gets turned into a dark well. Then the alliance with the Thayan wizard Sindre in the court of High King Reginald Carathel, and raises an army of Sahuagin
Sahuagin?
and the undead through the Sahuagin priest Yasala.
Okay.
The dark well turned into a cancerous wound on the earth that corrupted and killed anyone who came near it. Bhaal used the dark well to summon forth the children of Bhaal. Now, this is where I know context matters, because what is said to have come out of this well are his children, not to be confused with the ball spawn, which include Thorax the owlbear, a flock of peritons, and a displacer beast known as Shantu, which would lead them. Ben, please shine some light on this. Why is he spawning these magical creatures? Why are they sentient and intelligent enough to lead armies?
Periton are real dangerous and sentient already, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
My best guess is there's primal spirits that serve the Earth Mother out in the Moonshays. One's a whale, one's a unicorn, and one's a wolf.
Fuck yes.
My guess is that this is Bhaal kind of making creatures to oppose those creatures
I
directly.
see. I do.
I haven't read those novels, so I don't know for sure if that's the case, but I imagine, just knowing the context I know, that's probably why he did what he did.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Yeah, because I'm like, why is this dude spawning like sentient owlbears and displacer beasts when he's the god of the dead? Now this makes a lot more sense. I love it. All right. So all this was done to destroy the Earth Mother and seize the Moonshay Isles as his personal domain on Toril. As a god of murder, sucked out the warm life of the Moonshays through the dark well, the Earth Mother's strength continued to fade until her spirit was completely extinguished, ending her reign on the Isles. Bhaal's army of undead, Sahuagin, Firbolgs, ogre mercenaries, and the children of Bhaal, not to be confused with Bhaalspawn, led by proxies such as Yasala, wreaked havoc across the Isles by killing numerous people and raising settlements until they were finally defeated by the folk, united by the newly crowned king of the Isles, Tristan Kendrick. Man, he's got to hate this Tristan dude. He keeps coming for him. Who's Tristan? Tell me about Tristan, Ben.
Tristan Kendrick is the hero of the story. He's kind of what's the term? But he's kind of a noble at the beginning of the story who's kind of just, wenches and drinks to begin with until he, gets the call to action, the call to duty here, and it becomes High King of the Moonshays after dealing with Bhaal and all this nonsense.
Okay, cool. So
His sword's
he's
kind of
just like a
like
really good
Excalibur
fighter,
in a
really good
sense.
leader.
Oh wow.
What was that?
His sword is like Excalibur.
Oh, cool. Okay, so he's very much the King Arthur kind of stand-in.
In a sense, yeah.
Okay. So the Darkwell at this point was corrupted enough to open a portal to Bhaal's realm. Bhaal sent forth his avatar, the Ravager this time, not Khazgarath. Khazgarath failed last time. Fueled by much of his divine power, but it was slain by Tristan. Fucking Tristan, man.
This dude.
Dude, Tristan's kind of a badass.
Will, can you do me a favor and click where you are on the notes? This is the first time I've ever truly lost my.
Oh, you
place in
lost
them.
me. Okay,
Yeah.
I've clicked.
Oh, I was so close.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
So, slain by Tristan, High King of the Folk, using, here's the sword. Sword of Kyrmric Hugh?
It could be like Cymric.
I feel like
Cymric.
it the way it's spelt, is it supposed to be like Welsh or similar to Welsh?
Yeah, it's definitely of Welsh origin, the name, but
Mhm.
I'm not Welsh, so I don't have any kind of context as to how to pronounce that correctly.
Yeah. Does that imply like the hard C up front or what?
I
Likely.
think I've very, very limited experience with anything Welsh, but they have completely different ways of pronouncing letters that you and I would be familiar with in the English language.
There's somebody that knows that's like, yeah, right now,
Mhm.
just like slapping their keyboard and screaming into their.
I mean, I would
speakers
love
at
to.
us.
I would please slap away on the keyboard. I want to know how it's pronounced.
I'm
so
gonna
please
guess
let us know.
Cymric.
I mean,
Kymric
Kymric Hugh
Hugh.
sounds good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So some stoned king, Tristan, and Kymric Q.
Tristan's a badass.
Hell yeah, he is. How high was the Folk King?
So high.
He was fucking in space. He
So
was
high they
rocketed
named
down
him the
like a
High King.
meteor.
God, this is a bad joke. Moving on. Defeated and greatly weakened, Bhaal was banished from the Moonshade Isles and even temporarily exiled from Toril. Now we're going to jump ahead to the Time of Troubles, which I don't know if you remember anything about the Time of Troubles, Brian.
I know it's bad. So doesn't the Pantheon get like exploded, kind of?
Yeah, that's a way to look at it. Essentially, I don't remember the details anymore, even though I talked about them in the mystery episode.
That's
but
how it goes, man. We don't like. I'm not running this at my table, you know.
No,
Like, I'm not
that's true.
reading the novels,
But
so the information falls to the back.
the high god of Forgotten Realms, Ao, I think is his name.
That's his name.
Yeah, essentially is displeased with the way things are going and turns all the gods except for, is it Helm?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
all the gods
it's all the
except for
gods in the
Helm.
Faerunian
Mortal.
pantheon. Allegedly, there's some other gods from the other racial pantheons get tossed down to the surface, but they're not really touched on.
Hmm.
But it's all the gods except Helm.
Yeah, because Helm was the only one doing shit right, apparently.
Okay, I like him. Thanks, Helm.
Basically, it leads to a lot of gods dying and getting replaced by mortals.
Yeah, I kind of vaguely remember that.
Yeah.
Damn it! All I want to do is make weed jokes now. I gotta stop.
Damn it, Ryan.
Do you know the reason why Ao kicked them all out?
I don't remember, no.
It's because Bhaal's two buddies, Bane and Mercule, decide they're going to steal their, Big Pappy's tablets of fate and, learn how to become overgods themselves. And then Ao confronts all the gods. He gathers them all together, and he's like, "All right, what happened here?" And no one says anything. He's like, "All right, out you go, everyone except Helm. You can fight it out amongst yourselves."
You're all grounded.
He was like, "Anybody gonna say anything, huh? Nope. Oh, my watch is buzzing. Oh, it's trouble time.
Yep.
Uh-oh. Everybody get the hell out of here, except for you, Helm. Fist bump.
I
And
know
the-
it wasn't you.
The funny thing is that Bhaal probably would have been in league with Bane and Mercule if he wasn't, still reeling from being fucked up by Tristan.
Right.
Damn it, Tristan.
So it's all
Yep.
Tristan's fault. Or in a way, Tristan probably saved the world, because if Bhaal had been there to help them, maybe they would have succeeded. Is that what you're implying?
It very much could be the case. You never know.
Go Tristan. Moving on. So during the Time of Troubles, Bhaal, like all the other deities, was stripped of all his power and forced to walk Faerun as a mortal. Bhaal was slain by the upstart mortal Cyric, who will get his own episode because I know a lot of people want to know
Are
about
you
Cyric.
sure it's not Welsh?
I'm pretty sure it's Cyric. Ben,
not
It's
Pyrrhic?
Cyric. It's
Thank you.
Cyric.
thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, I hate Cyric. Oh,
Oh yes. Oh, he's so hateable. He is so hateable. He's a great villain. Upstart mortal Cyric, using the avatar of Mask, a sword named God's Bane. I don't really have context for that stuff. I know Mask is a god of thieves.
Yep, he's got thieves. So essentially, most of the gods, when they came down to the surface as avatars, they all came down as like humanoid aspects of themselves.
Mhm.
Mask, for some reason, decided he was going to come down as a sword.
I mean, I think that's brilliant. Like, you're gonna do the killing. You're not gonna do the dying if you're the sword.
Yeah,
Hey.
it makes sense for Mask. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so that's good to know. In doing this, Cyric stole Bhaal's divinity and portfolio elements, However, much like Merkul, or Merkel, who invested his divine essence in the artifact known as the Crown of Horns, Bhaal was not utterly removed from Faerun. Part of his divinity remained in the winding water around, oh, that's a word, Boreskir Bridge, where he was slain, his blood having flowed into the river. More importantly, Bhaal foresaw his death and impregnated many mortal women, creating his heirs, the Bhaalspawn. Oh god, they're back.
Oh no!
The Bhaalspawn were involved in a series of conflicts along the Sword Coast, with one standing above the others and ultimately foiling Bhaal's plan to return through his children. I'm now guessing that this is part of those Baldur's Gates games. Am I right,
You
Ben?
got it.
So canonically, your character is supposed to choose the path where they overcome the fact that they're a Bhaalspawn.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
The character's canonical name is Abdul Adrian. It's a bit of a funky name, but that's his
Yeah.
name apparently.
Okay.
So
Why does that name sound familiar?
Whoever they are, they're more than just a ball spawn.
Definitely.
Sounds like part of the plot.
Definitely. As a matter of fact, that's the least fact about them. Moving on.
Oh, maybe it sounds familiar because you wrote it in your notes in the next paragraph.
Ah, that's why it sounds familiar. For a time, it was believed that any possibility for Bhaal's resurrection had been stopped. The last known Bhaalspawn, Abdul Adrian, resisted the murderous impulses caused by his lineage and became a famed and beloved figure in the city of Baldur's Gate. In the year of the Narthax murders, I don't have context for what that is, near the beginning of the era known as the Second Sundering, I do know what that is. Another Bhaalspawn was, Viking, another Bhaalspawn who was thought to be dead, attacked Adrian as he spoke to a crowd in the portion of town known as the Wide. While the ultimate winner of the duel is unknown, the victor transformed into a massive blood-soaked creature and began a rampage that was only stopped when a group of adventurers new to Baldur's Gate defeated and killed the monstrosity. Now, I actually have a fair amount of context for this because when 4th edition and 5th edition, when 4th edition was becoming 5th edition, there was this big Forgotten Realms event called the Sundering. And during, I want to say it was during D&D Next, which was like the playtest, they had a Baldur's Gate adventure, which was the Sundering, in which you literally see this happen. It's like how the adventure opens. You're in Baldur's Gate. Ooh. That's why the name's familiar to me, because this dude's doing a speech, and then he gets attacked, and then there's chaos, and now there's a monster.
Yeah, because it says you don't know who wins, but it doesn't matter because
it doesn't matter.
The other one becomes a monster.
They're both Bhaalspawn.
They're both Bhaalspawns.
You got anything to add to the Sundering?
If I could just offer a bit of a correction.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, please.
The adventure is called Murder in Baldur's Gate.
Okay.
The overarching kind of event that's transpiring right now is called the Sundering or the Second Sundering.
Oh, okay. So
that's
right
all.
Now, the Second Sundering's happening?
Yes, like this is one of the events that kicks it off. This is like 1482 Dale Reckoning.
So, with all of his children dead, all of Bhaal's essence was freed, allowing it for his resurrection. Bhaal was revived and reclaimed the murder domain from Cyric. I'd like to know how he did that. However, the Lord of Murder was no longer a true deity and was instead a being of quasi-divine status. As with Bane and Miracle, he was effectively a mortal.
Now, is quasi-divine better than like demigod?
It's less.
It's even less?
Yes.
It's quarter instead of half.
Yep.
That's what I thought, but you never know.
So, what do you got on this, Ben? Like, how did he get his portfolio back from Cyric? And what are the details of his resurrection / quasi-divine status?
So, how he got his portfolio back. There's no narrative to speak to that. It's more with the advent of the Second Sundering, the return of so many gods. I guess Wizards of the Coast saw it appropriate just to kind of reincorporate deities in their former positions. So Bhaal just shows back up, and he regains his portfolio from Cyric just cause. And I really don't have any other better answer than that.
It's just a hand wave, basically.
Yeah, it's like
exactly.
It's like a hard cut into, okay, I'm back, baby. That's it.
Yeah, he didn't fight Cyric for it. He didn't steal it from Cyric. He just, because he came back, he's got it again.
And Cyric is still a major deity, right? He's not even a lower deity. He's a higher deity, right?
Well, deity ranks in 5th edition are a bit, not as clear as they were in previous editions. But yes, he's very likely still a greater deity.
Yeah, that'll be a fun episode, Brian, because Sirik, his plot to basically take over the universe was pretty interesting.
Okay.
So, okay, now let's get a little bit into his clergy. The clergy of Bhaal in Faerun are known as Bhaalists, or Bhaalin, or Ballist, or Ballin. They're Ballin.
They're balling.
It's ballin'. Let's just go with ballin' because it sounds better.
Yeah, we'll go
Sounds
with
much
Ballin.
better.
It sounds way better. The latter being used more commonly in the lands east of the Dragon Reach. Together, they are a disorderly network of local hierarchies, with the urban and rural branches maintaining distant relations from one another. Collectively, they believe that murder is both a duty to their god and a game for their enjoyment. Ballists or Ballins believe that every murder committed strengthens holy Baal. Ballists are required to deal death once in every 10 day during the darkest period at the heart of the night, which I'm pretty sure means midnight.
They have to murder someone every 10 days?
At a very specific time. So if they get it wrong, they got to do it again.
That's super ritualistic, right? Like, that makes
Yes.
sense.
Like, okay, am I right in guessing that it means midnight when it says the darkest period at the heart of the night?
I would imagine that's indeed the case. I don't think it's like a proper noun in the realms. Like high sun in the realms is noon. They can't just call it noon for whatever reason, but I would imagine that's probably midnight.
Oh, is that why it's worded that way? Because they don't actually have a midnight as a term?
It's quite possible. I don't know for sure.
Interesting. Okay. So if imprisonment or other constraining circumstances makes this 10-day murder impossible, they must murder twice for each death missed.
So on the next 10 day, they do a double.
Interest is collected on these missed deaths.
Wait, interest is collected? I thought they just like make it up on the next one. Is that not?
No, they have to more than make it up.
They
like,
must murder
so,
twice for
every
each
murder
missed
that's
death.
missed.
Oh, so on by the next one they owe 3.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Where was I? In accordance with the Lord of Murder's teachings.
Just start that sentence over if you could.
Man, it's really hitting me. In accordance with the Lord of Murder's teachings, Ballins strive to ensure that before they die, the victim that is, the murder victims know who is killing them and that their death is in the name of Bhaal. Very important. Skip that part. You got to do it all over again. Yeah. Let your killings be essentially. Oh yeah. Here we go. Novices of Bhaal are charged as follows: make all folk fear Bhaal. Let your killings be especially elegant or grisly, or seen easy, so that those observing them are awed and terrified. Tell folk that gold proffered can make the Lord of Murder overlook them for today. So that was cool. A wholly evil, debased, and sadistic god, Bhaal, is reviled by a majority of the pantheon. His divine foes include Shantea, Helm, Ilmater, Lathander, Lyria, or is it Lyra? Lyra?
Or Lyra.
And Tyr.
Is it Leira or Lliira?
That one, Lliira.
That is Lyra.
Ooh, I got it right the first time.
Nice.
But he is served by the goddesses Tolona, the Lady of Poison, Mistress of Disease, and Mother of all Plagues, and Loviatar, the evil goddess of agony. Now, that confused me because I'm pretty sure she is, or at least she was, the wife of Bane. So, is this information incorrect? Or does she do both? Is she married to Bane but also serves Bhaal?
Those two probably don't serve Bhaal anymore.
Okay.
That's true from like a second edition, first edition back.
Okay.
Given Bhaal's current status as you said earlier, quasi power, I don't think Tolona and Loviatar really want to, have anything
he's
to
under
do with
them
him.
now.
But I imagine there's still some tie to some degree.
Right. I mean, they still know him.
Yeah, exactly.
And he in turn serves Bane and to a lesser extent Mirkul.
Yeah. Bane is the kind of leader of those three.
Yeah, the tyrant. He's the one that I knew about before I knew anything about Forgotten Realms. He was even one of the main deities in the 4th edition pantheon, which was its own separate thing. But yeah, that's all I have on Bhaal. I don't know if you guys have any questions, comments, or anything to add.
Yeah, I don't think we addressed it. I think you asked me like why is Bhaal a quasi power at the moment?
Oh yeah.
So you wouldn't know it, because Wizards of the Coast does not do a good job of explaining lore when they even present lore. But if you are familiar with Descent into Avernus, there's a little section at the back of the book that talks about Baldur's Gate specifically, and they talk about the Dead Three, that being Bhaal, Mercule, and Bane, and how they aren't traditional gods anymore. They've abdicated their position. They are on the mortal plane somewhere in Baldur's Gate doing something. There's a video that speaks to this that there should have been a write-up included in like Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide about this, but it is what it is. But it's a video where Chris Perkins he's talking about how these three have disregarded the divine mandate, and he uses that term specifically to kind of, it's more or less kind of a way to signal the gods are keeping their noses out of meddling with the mortals, like, and in a way they're trying to frame that. So for the current edition, 5th edition, we're not seeing the gods being front and center in the machinations on like the storyline, the Forgotten Realms.
Yeah, like they used to be.
Especially like the Time of Troubles and 3rd edition with Shar and all that. But I believe, and this is just speculation on my part, these three gods, Bane, Mercule, and Bhaal, are going to be involved in the plot of Baldur's Gate 3. That video game's coming out
right
August of this year. It's been in playtest for a long time.
Yeah.
I say that only for 2 reasons. The first reason is anyone familiar with the cards that got released for Magic the Gathering, the 2 tie-in series for Dungeons and Dragons. There's cards for those 3 gods, Bane, Mercule, and Bhaal. I don't want to get too deep into the spoilers of that game, but I'll say if anyone's interested, there's a organization in that game called the Absolute. Take the symbol of the Absolute, then compare it to the 3 holy symbols for those gods.
Oh.
This is something that people have already picked up on, but you might be able to draw some conclusions, and I think in some respects, these 3 are going to rear their ugly heads in that game.
Yeah, I think that tracks, especially considering it, just like we said, what was in Baldur's Gate 2, like the main character was Bhaalspawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think you're right. Cool theory. What about you, Brian? You got anything?
This is cool. I it's hard to follow like Forgotten Realms just like cold turkey going in, you know.
Right.
I'll research Forgotten Realms stuff for like if I want to use certain Forgotten Realms stuff for a game, then I'll go and jump in and do research. But here at the Dungeoncast, we're more like a zoomed out sort of like here's what you need for your
We're
game.
setting
like,
agnostic.
Yeah, and you can go and dive into Forgotten Realms, you know, further from there if, you know, you really need those details. You know, you may need that, you may not. But this is cool. I like Bhaal a lot.
Yeah, he's fun.
He's funny.
He's
like,
fun in a horrifying
You gotta
way.
go murder once a week. That's so strange.
He's fun in the way that the Demon Lords are fun.
Right. You know, just like ridiculous in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just over the top evil.
Yeah. Over the top evils.
I love it.
That's a great way to put it.
All right. Well, with that being said, I think we could get ready for a long rest.
No,
if you
we
guys
don't do that here. We just talk.
Oh,
dig.
yeah.
We just talk the dig. I mean, we do that here, but not when we have a guest.
I forget long rests don't happen on these ones.
Nah, we'll just do it after. Dig, you want to go over your stuff one more time? Let people know where they can find you.
Yeah, sure. So I run a podcast called Religion in the Realms. It's a deity focused podcast, specifically the gods of the Forgotten Realms. Um, I put the episodes up on YouTube. You can find my podcast feed on iTunes, Spotify, all the various different podcatchers. Um, I put up the episodes when they're good and ready. I don't really follow a schedule. It's when they're done, they're done. So
I respect that
No,
a lot.
that's understandable.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. We're going to link all that stuff down below. I want to say thanks again for everything you do for us. Not just for coming on the show, but for all the work that you do in the Discord.
And also, I would like to formally apologize for my post in looking for a game. I didn't realize I was breaking a rule. I'll put myself on blast here.
Will pinged everyone.
I'll tell you what.
It was earth shaking.
I'll tell you what. I found a DM though.
yep.
But I'm
That's just
sorry.
it.
I really am.
I'm sure you would. I'm sure you, William. Okay.
Oh boy.
Let's not go there.
All right.
Let's not go deeper into that.
Sorry.
All right, guys. I think that's everything then.
Yeah.
Check us out on Patreon if you're looking to support the show further than you already have. And without y'all support, we wouldn't be where we are. So thank you for listening. And I think we can call it a game.
Yeah, let's call it a game. We'll talk to you guys later.
All right.
The Dungeoncast.